Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Ruach Kodash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. And salutations and much love to rest of you sincere Aki. I'm pushing the word in truth and sincerity. This is the cleric Izar coming at you with another lesson. I am continuing in my lot to bring you my ongoing series from excerpts of Holly Weird, This Factory of Perverseness, another observation of predictive programming, and how art imitates life and vice versa. Just a reminder, the purpose of my videos is to show correlations. Correlation is an observation of a mutual relationship or connection between two or more things. I use movie scenes to extract or extrapolate a narrative. I'm not glorifying the Hollywood culture or life. I have a wide knowledge of films, whether they be foreign or domestic. And I just use snippets as an example to bring out similarities and those correlations. To quote Cecil B. DeMille, the greatest source of material for motion pictures is the Bible. I call this lesson, the MOTB is in Star Wars. The image I have on display is from a series I watched within the past, I want to say 10 years. Of course, being this truth, I reflected on this particular series. These particular episodes debuted around March 7th, 2014. The title of it is Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Directed by 4 different directors, Bosco, N.G., Brian Callen O'Connell, and Danny Keller, Kyle Dunleavy. But specifically written by Katie Lucas, who is the daughter of George Lucas, who is the creator of Star Wars. Okay, where do I start? All right, first of all, let me just give a spoiler alert for anyone who's not familiar with the Star Wars genre. Okay, let me get right into it. Basically, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But no, in the saga of Star Wars, and you have 9 films, but episodes 4, 5, and 6, there's 9 episodes total, but episodes 4, 5, 6 are considered the original trilogy. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 are considered the prequel trilogy, and episodes 7, 8, 9 are considered the sequel trilogy. Okay, setting up to what happened in 4, 5, and 6, technology wasn't the way it wanted for George Lucas, so he started his particular saga story midway with episodes 4, 5, and 6, was started in 1977. Okay, which depicted the bad guy or the military force, aka the stormtroopers, which were the infantry for the bad guys, the guys with the white armor. But in the prequel trilogy, explained what led up to the stormtroopers in this thing called the Clone Wars. And basically, before this infantry was created, they basically literally had to create soldiers. And they took a particular warrior or a bounty hunter and cloned his DNA. But to keep the soldiers under their control, they grew them, but they implanted them with what was called a behavioral inhibitor chip. Okay, each particular soldier had a behavioral inhibitor modification chip implanted in their right frontal lobe. Okay, now this would be a logical place for the device because it suppresses individuality and causes violent outbursts. But basically, once Order 66 was initiated, which was the order for the clone troopers to execute the Jedi, which were the good guys. Now, this is under the influence of the ultimate bad guy, which was the Lord of the Sith, or the Chancellor at the time, which was Palpatine, which is played by Ian McDiarmid, who I had the pleasure of meeting. Really, really funny guy. And Shakespearean actor. Basically, once his character, Emperor Palpatine, once he established the Empire, he gave out the order, which was Order 66. It might as well have been Order 666, but it was called Order 66, okay? And once he gave out this order throughout the whole galaxy, every single clone trooper stopped what they were doing. They turned their guns, rifles, guns, whatever, whether if they were in a ship, tank, if they had a handgun, they turned it right towards the Jedi. And the Jedi, unbeknownst to them, a lot of them were murdered or killed or executed. Okay. And, it was by their own troops, because the Jedis were basically the generals over these troops. So they would be rushing into a battle, some of them, and the troops would be behind them. They would stop and they would shoot and kill the Jedi, but without him even knowing. And there's only very few Jedi that would escape this particular execution. Okay. But I was looking up this fictional trivia on these ships, and found it online, and it's called Wikipedia. The reason why it's called Wikipedia is the Wookiee is one of the characters in Star Wars. But it's interesting. It broke down these inhibitor chips, and that's why I'm calling this lesson MOTBs in Star Wars, because that's what the radio frequency the radio frequency identification chip is going to be, or the Vera chip, which is going to be coming once Esau tries to implement his New World Order, just like the Emperor tried to implement. Well, he was able to implement his empire to take total control over the galaxy. And Esau's trying to do the same thing with this particular planet by establishing his New World Order. But basically, down to these chips, according to this fictional trivia, I'm just going to read some excerpts here. It says that the right hemisphere of the human brain is responsible for creative thinking, decision-making, impulse, and motor control. This fits the inhibitor chip's role in suppressing the clones' free will, making them less impulsive, and forcing them to execute Order 66. Which, like I said, should just be called Order 666. But anyway, one of the clone troopers in this 4-episode arc in the series, he found that he had a chip in his brain. And I'm not sure, I can't remember if he found a way to remove it, but he tried to expose the conspiracy behind what they were leading up to, because Order 66 hadn't been implemented yet. And so the Empire were trying to hunt him down, and he was running around, and we were following this particular clone trooper for like 4 or 5 seasons, and his whole entire squad. And his whole entire squad over the years were getting picked off and later and so forth. But he was like one of the last remaining troopers to make it through. It's a really good 4-episode arc, like the whole entire time. Like, I was in the truth already. So I was like, oh man, this is interesting to throwing this out there. But the amount of Jake that I run into that are into Star Wars is really far in between. So I hope this video becomes so edifying. Maybe you'll be able to find this. You can find this on Disney Plus. I mean, I have the actual Blu-rays myself. But back to this chip. Okay, within the right hemisphere, the right frontal lobe controls problem solving, judgment, and personality. It makes sense for the inhibitor chip to be placed here, as it needs to force a clone to abandon individuality, conform to Order 66. See, look at that word, conform. And doesn't the scripture say we're not supposed to be conformed to this world? So it just showing you how these chips are going to make you conform to the New World Order. And anyone who doesn't take it is going to be executed, because they want totality. They want the whole entire planet to take this particular microchip. Okay. And the whole idea back in Star Wars was to have these troopers view all the Jedi allies as their enemies. Okay, back to this trivia here. Now, damage to the right frontal lobe can cause antisocial behavior, loss of personality, and dementia. Okay, so if you're ever familiar with any of the old people in the world who have suffered from dementia, or even like Alzheimer's and things of that sort, this chip is designed to make you lose that loss of your personality, okay, as well as having antisocial behavior, okay, basically being total brainwashed, okay, without the slow brainwashing method of slow programming over the years. It's like as soon as the chip is on and it's injected into you, you're going to be under control, okay. Reading on here, though we know these are the effects of Sidious's brainwashing. Sidious is Darth Sidious, or Emperor Palpatine, the person played by Ian McDiarmid, the ultimate bad guy in Star Wars, who's actually in episodes 1 through 6, and he makes a surprising appearance in episode 9. But I'm not going to get involved in that. No. Well, anyway, this particular clone's chip's malfunctions also likely causes his brain damage associated with his antisocial behavior. since these guys are clones, this Order 66 wiped out most of their individual personalities. Loyal friends, like I said, they were loyal friends of the Jedi. They turn on them in seconds. But that's basically it. As you can see in this picture, the clone had gotten himself X-rayed, and the droid was trying to explain to him that there was a chip in his brain, or close to where his forehead is. And this is where George Lucas got it from. He got it from the scriptures. Okay. Read on some more here. Maybe you guys will get some more out of this. Oh, here. This is good. A study published in the British Journal of Psychiatry, Benson, Cummings, Darby, and Miller in 1997, found that patients with frontal temporal damage were predisposed to committing assault, manslaughter, and other harmful or unlawful behaviors. Let me read that again. A study published in the British Journal of Psychiatry found that patients with frontal temporal damage were predisposed to committing assault, manslaughter, and other harmful or unlawful behaviors, the exact kind the chips are supposed to inhibit. So I would not be surprised, if the chips are implemented prior to Jacob's trouble popping off. Because if they're saying that this is going to be a time like no other, imagine a system that's designed to make people have these kind of issues. Like it says, it suppresses your individuality and it causes violent outbursts. So imagine a whole gang of people with these things in their head and going crazy in the streets all over the world. Reading on here, just trying to find the things that are making sense here. In this universe, the inhibitor chips do a lot of things a real frontal temporal tumor couldn't, like triggering brainwashing with a specific code phrase. All right, and that's interesting. That's also how if you into familiar with hypnotizing, you can have somebody be taught a certain word, and all of a sudden you see them like freeze up and pause, and all of a sudden they go off to do what they need to go ahead to do because they're hypnotized to perform that particular act. That's the same thing with these chips. Once it's activated and it's designed for you to carry out the order that's within the chip or the commands, you're going to go ahead and do that. All right, and that's another reason why you're not supposed to take it, because you, like this thing says, it affects your creative thinking, your decision making, impulse, and motor control. Okay. So just getting back into the scriptures, back in the Holy Bible, specifically the Apostle John on the island of Patmos saw this happening in our future. So this is reality, folks. All right. So all you folks out there over the years that you watch these Jakes and other people watching Star Wars. Yeah, this went right over your head. All right, because this is going to be implemented real soon. And this, you weren't grown with the chip. You're going to be given the option of having to take this thing. All right. But in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16, it reads, "And he cause of all, both small and great," and see, he cause of all. So some particular event's going to happen that's going to make people take this. Let me read on them. "And he cause of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead." See this picture here? All right, the droid's looking at the X-ray and he's looking at the chip. All right, that thing that's all highlighted in orange and yellow, and the circle around it. All right, that's where the chip was located. Okay, and as you can see with this little study I just finished reading, there's going to be a particular sore that's going to break out on people's head. All right, because look at the damage that's going to be causing to your front temporal lobe. When you read Revelation chapter 16, verse 2, it reads, "And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image." Okay, so like I was saying earlier in this little study, okay, this is going to basically create a whole bunch of robots. When you speak of the antisocial behavior, loss of personality, your individuality, personality, all gone, you're basically going to be a robot, but you're going to be a robot for Esau. Okay, specifically the banking elite, the upper class, the real upper class that you don't hear about. Okay. But I'm just going to end it on this, because the Most High, he has his own mark. But even though this particular mark of the beast is his as well, this is really going to screen out a lot of people that, one, want to keep that individuality, but also want to keep that connection to the Most High, because that's what the Most High is looking for. Okay. The ones actually that are sighing and crying and have that broken and contrite heart as pertaining to Psalms, the 51st chapter. But I'm just going to end it on this. I always like to end my videos on a good note with some type of silver lining. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. So in other words, there is a happy ending. When you read Revelation 7:3, it speaks about the particular sealing of the servants and the particular mark that's going to be put on the servants that don't take this mark of the beast, or this charagma. Okay. When you read Revelation chapter 7, verse 3, it reads, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads, or the servants of the Most High in their foreheads. Okay. And that's going to be the elect. Okay. That small remnant, just like in Star Wars, how there was just a small remnant, there's only a small few that escaped this persecution or this execution. They even show that to you in, I think it's called not the movie The Purge. In Star Wars, this is called The Purge as well. When the temple itself, because the Jedi, they go to this particular temple to learn how to use the Force and so forth, how to fight with the lightsabers and so forth. They all types of lessons and so forth. But in Revenge of the Sith, episode 3, you see the burning of the temple and the troops coming, the clone troopers coming to kill the Jedi and so forth. And I might need to go ahead and rewatch this again, because there may be some other things I need to bring out, and maybe at a future lesson. But the whole purpose of this lesson, guys, is just let you know, hey, that this chip thing is real. All right, and it's been in the works for a long time. And if the Apostle John saw it back then on the island of Patmos, when he wrote the book of Revelations, it's going to come to pass. Okay, so there's all these other. I wonder how many other camps. I usually don't talk about other camps, other Israelite camps, but I wonder how many other Israelite camps, IUIC and GOCC, have come across Star Wars, the Clone Wars, specifically these particular episodes that debuted in 2014. But like I said, check it out yourself if you have Disney Plus. They're for free. At one point they were on Netflix, but I think, of course, Disney owns the Star Wars brand as of now. And of course, you can also go to your local Best Buy or even find the Clone Wars series on Amazon. And but if you're not a Star Wars fan, this might go right over your head. You might not find interest at all. But like I said, I got to thank the Most High for keeping me so open and keeping me aware in all these different facets of film, so I can see where all this stuff's coming from. Because sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think of a lesson, and I'm able to decipher a lot of things that have been shown on the silver screen. Okay. That should be it there. I just want to share that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, who gives me the strength in the spirit to continue to strive and endure in these last days. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and on to the next video.